And this is what we were trying to do. So here's my suggestion. If you do feel that way, you're not going to just ignore it. You're going to pursue this. You're going to finish this minor. And then you'll consider if you want to go back, you will go back.
Going back in your terms means to the previous pamphlet. The last mimer of the previous pamphlet?
Whatever's appropriate to go back to.
The previous pamphlet. There is there is no end to the depth and the clarity in what we in pursuing what we learn. There is no end. There's definitely a benefit to being introduced a new perspective, a new overview, because with a new overview you can understand the other better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
A new overview as given by this present mimer that we're doing.
Right, as you pursue. There's an interesting principle that never speaks about it. The Friedrich, I think, that when a Malamed is teaching children, so he's teaching him AyinBase. Make sure he knows the AyinBase perfectly, and then he teaches him to read, and then he goes on and so on. He can accelerate and get him a better feel of what he's doing if he learns AyinBase to a certain degree and continues on with the Nekudas. He gets into reading, then the AyinBase begins to make sense to him much more. And then he can acquire it much better. The same thing goes further and further. You learn Chumash. You don't have to learn Chumash to 100% until you get Rashi. Learn Rashi as soon as he's able to understand Rashi. Then the Chumash will be absorbed much easier. That opens the child's mind, and so opens this child's mind. All right. All right. So we are kind of repeating what we learned yesterday, but we're just going to go through. It was not possible to have his galus hakav if there were no tzimtzum at all. The Chaim's question is only that there should be a partial tzimtzum, a tzimtzum of the Ein Sof. But you need a tzimtzum altogether. Since that the whole principle of the Chaim's question is that there is the root for the kav, even in the Oishel Lifnei HaTzimtzum, that's as far as Agnuza is, so we need a tzimtzum at all. Dig down right into the Esesfiras Agmuzis and bring him out without any tzimtzum.
But when the Eitz Chaim brings this kasha, he's learning as we do, but he's wondering why it couldn't have been that way.
Right. That's his question. Why couldn't it be that way? Why didn't it do this way?
He's allowed to ask such questions.
Yeah. So the Rebbe is explaining the Chaim. The Chaim says why Why do we have a complete tzimtzum? Let it be a partial tzimtzum. So the Rebbe goes a step further to explain to us that the question at partial tzimtzum, but no question to tzimtzum at all is not even a question. Why not no tzimtzum at all? If the basis of the question of the partial tzimtzum is because there is a sfiras agnuzes, which means that there is a source, a basis for the kav in the Ayin Sof, so why do you have tzimtzum at all? Produce the kav directly from the Ayin Sof.
This is the Rebbe Rashab goes ahead and says this in explaining the Eitz Chaim.
That's right.
Right.
You want to say it inside?
You just
I
said
knew,
produce
Kasha,
the kav. You just said produce the kav from the Ayin Sof without it tzimtzum.
That's right. Again, the whole question of the Eitz Chaim is based on the fact that there is sfiras agnuzes, which means that there is an element of the kav in the Ayin Sof. That's the basis of the question. If that's the case, why need tzimtzum at all? Dig right down into the depth of the Ayin Sof. Find the kav within there, there's a sfiras agnuzes, and draw it out in the form of a kav.
Isn't a kav condensed? Isn't that the definition of a kav? How could you make a kav without?
But that's a sfiras agnuzes. Not from the Ayin Sof. There's a sfiras agnuzes that are contained within the Ayin Sof.
That's what he says here. The higher gvul Ayin Sof koydem u'tzimtzum.
So look inside, the last line again. So we are repeating it several times anyway. The last few words. If there were no tzimtzum at all, this is the Rebbe's elaboration on the question of the Beis Chaim. The Beis Chaim says we should have a partial tzimtzum because there is a sfiras agnuzes. So the Rebbe says the Beis Chaim's question is only that there should not be a general tzimtzum, but there should be a partial tzimtzum must be. Because im lo hoya tzimtzum klal, if there were no tzimtzum at all, lo hoya efshel li his gavas hakav, then it would not be possible that his gavas hakav, even though there is a sfiras agnuzes. Why is that? And this is the explanation. The kasher meir ha'oyer shuhu bechinat bli gvul, because as long as the oil that is bechinat bli gvul, this we spent yesterday almost the whole time to understand the word bechinat bli gvul.
I did a little
Review,
touching on my fellow comrades,
right?
and we didn't understand this, even though you dwelled a long time on it. You brought great humility to us.
Okay. So now we're ready to learn.
Yes, should be, yes.
The reason this whole thing needs to be explained, bechinat bli gvul versus bli gvul, is that we are physically oriented. We have essentially a flat perspective. What's a flat perspective mean? You have 1 mile, another mile, bli gvul miles. The miles will never end. Conceptually. And I explained, we have more miles that does not affect the original miles. You have $100. It costs $2 to buy a bottle of milk. And you have $100. These $2 that you're paying for a bottle of milk are now worth more because they come from a kili of 100.
He was saying that bechinat bli gvul is much more bli gvul than just bli gvul itself. It's the
One second. Yes, but I mean, you have to understand what that means. So bli gvul. Bli gvul means that essentially you're containing gvulim. But there is bli gvul gvulim.
So that is sense of cumulative.
That's sense of cumulative.
So that's the normal flat perspective.
This is the perspective that we have in the world. You have bli gvul. What do you mean bli gvul?
Mm-hmm.
I have $1 million, $1 billion, $10 billion. You can't even count how much. Hey, mispor, but it's all the same dollars.
Accumulation of finite.
So we neither understand bechinat nor believe. Neither, seems like you're saying.
No.
No, understanding means understanding what is being said, not projecting how is that. That's not the point.
No, that we don't relate to bli gvul. So certainly we don't relate to bechinat bli gvul.
Forget about relating. Do you understand the words bli gvul?
Well, as you just said, well, I don't understand it.
Why not?
Because I think in terms of cumulative, not in terms of...
What's the difference how you get in bli gvul? That's the difference how you get it.
What's the difference when I get it? Seems like it's a major difference.
Yeah, tell me.
I cannot get it if I think in
We're
terms...
talking about getting it, talking about what it means.
Okay, so tell me what it means.
I don't know. You tell me. What does bli gvul mean? If I tell you this, you're not getting it. What do you, when you say the word bli gvul, what does that mean to you? How do you imagine? How do you project
Infinite
that?
amount of $100 bills.
What? An infinite amount of $100 bills, right?
But that's
So I'm giving you
That's legal.
an easier way to relate to it. You have to buy an item in the grocery store that costs $1, $2. You go out of your house and you say, let me take $1,000 with me. I have to buy this item. Does these $2 that you're going to pay now have a different value? You can't relate to $2 because you have $1,000 in your pocket. Maybe I went crazy. $100. It's the same. It's same $2. So having a certain huge quantity or uncountable quantity of the same, it does not change the same.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
That's legal.
One
No,
second.
I don't think so.
One second. One second. Is that clear?
Yes.
So what then does it mean when the Rebbe says that when Meir or Eshu who bli gvul, forget about the word bechinat. If the area that is bli gvul, then the oil that is gvul cannot be identified. Why not?
So that would mean that the $2 does not apply in this case. $2 and $100.
Does not apply. But that you could tell the $2 even though you have $100.
Yes, which is not not the 100 and not the 2 are in the quantity of
You're jumping the gun. So we say that there are certain circumstances that the lower amount cannot be identified. The gvul cannot be identified because there is bli gvul.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, if the bli gvul consists of bli gvul of the same gvulim, then there's no problem to identify the gvulim.
But in that case, you don't have bli gvul.
Fine. Do you understand this? Let's cover
Yes.
one
Okay,
step at a
yes.
time.
Yes, if you have a quantity, and you have an
Even if it's an enormous quantity, an uncountable amount.
Yes.
One unit is
Yes.
easily identified.
Yes.
The definition of bli gvul.
One in the other. So now look inside. כאשר מאיר האור שהוא בבחינס בלי גבול. That's what the Rebbe does not say through bli gvul. Or shehu bivchinas bli gvul. And this is what we emphasize. Yes, there is what's called a bechinat bli gvul, not bli gvul relative to gvul. A bli gvul that is essentially in a bli gvul cannot be related to the gvul. You understand?
And that I saw that you yesterday. That's how you presented it, and it's counter to how we've spoken about this previously.
Yes, because that's what I'm trying to say. Because we immediately, when we say bli gvul, we mean bli gvul gvulim. That's how our mind works.
No, besides how our mind works, how you explained it to us.
I explained it how our mind works, so in order to contrast it. Give it a little twist in your mind. I went into that to point out that this is how you would think unless you understand the word bechinat bli gvul.
That which tests for bli gvul is not as dominant as that which is bli gvul.
You go back to the original question. If I am what I am, the fact that I know it is less significant. Remember that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You turned that around.
Turn that around. I want to try to wake you up to the thought level of Chassidus, a human thought level.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, you're kidding. Just 1 second. Somebody at the table wants to ask a question. Go ahead.
So you're saying that the Rebbe is presenting it this way so that we don't misinterpret it? Because essentially the word bli gvul, does it mean sort of our limited, like our... I mean, the way you described what bli gvul, we project it as an infinite, a bli gvul amount of normal gvuls. Is that what it means, or that's just how we would misinterpret it? So we're using bechinas sort of to make it so we don't misinterpret it.
I don't really understand the basic of the question. The point is this. If you want to say that the gvul cannot be noticed in the realm of bli gvul, it is true only if you talk about bechinat bli gvul, not about the bli gvul gvulim.
It's only relevant if you have an accurate understanding of bli gvul.
Yeah, a deep understanding, the principle of bli gvul.
Yeah.
Not and like I said, if you have $100 in your pocket and you take out $2, these $2 are no different than if you only had $2. So the Rabbi is saying, we had to have a tzimtzum. The tzimtzum of the bli gvul element, the bli insof, because kasher meir ha'oir shuhu bivchinas bli gvul. Because while the oil that is bivchinas bli gvul is in full glory, is meir, is illuminating, and giving you a perspective from that vantage point. And a nikar klal, then there's totally no cognizance of ha'oir shuhu bivchinas bli gvul. Of the oil that is in the realm of gvul.
Can I ask now?
Go ahead.
Why is it when we say that we always learn that the bechinat means an aspect, an element? So why is it now when we say it's an element, defining that means that the bli gvul is not of quantity-wise, it's essentially the bli gvul. Why is this happening only when we say it's an aspect and not when we say it's bli gvul?
Because when you say bli gvul, again, there's a human mind process. You say bli gvul, what is that alluding to? Bli
It's
gvul,
not for the sheet. I would say bli gvul could be that it's not a lot of gvulim. Bli gvul, it's, why can I mean,
okay, you explain what that means, bli gvul.
I would explain it the same way we explain it now when we say the bechinat bli gvul.
No, that would be an incorrect explanation. Because bli gvul means you have this, a certain amount, and you say, I have bli gvul.
Because you're using the term limit. So if
So
it's without
what's
limit.
happening now when we say the bechinat? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Because
Why
the
does
bechinat bli gvul is alluding to a completely different perspective, perception. We're not talking about bli gvul in terms of measurement. We're talking about bli gvul in terms of concept.
Okay, I got it.
All right. It's pretty late. I don't know if the Agaber will let me finish my sentence, but I'll try. I'd like we should think into this. Meir ha'oyer shu b'bchinas bli gvul. The oil that is b'bchinas bli gvul, while this oil is in full glory, is illuminating, then it's enoniker klal. Then he can't identify at all. Ha'oyer shu b'bchinas bli gvul, the oil that is b'bchinas gvul. We already passed the challenge of gvul versus bli gvul. We're talking about bechinas bli gvul and bechinas gvul. So, yesterday we demonstrated this principle. The neshama is in a goof. The goof functions in the realm of gvul. And it's tremendous. With the goof, you can go and build houses. You can build roads. You can build cars. You can build airplanes. You cannot do it with the neshama. You can transform the whole world, the physical world, with the skills that are in your group. Okay? Let me point it out. Now, would the goof ever invent and conceptualize a multi-story house if not for the neshama in the person? How did people live before they developed their intellect? They lived in caves. In other words, what was their reaction on the goof level? Protect me from the rain, from the cold. Forget about the space that I'm observing. I don't even know there is anything there. When it's meir ha'oyer should be bechinas bli gvul, you have a bechino bli gvul. In the human being there is a bechino bli gvul relative to a bechino bli gvul. When he relates to a bigger reality. Like I said many times, a prisoner, Rahman al who is in prison. Even if he is in a so to speak in a modern day prison, but he can live like a human being on a physical level. And even if he can play tennis, he's still suffering from being in prison. Why is he suffering? Because this whole experience of the tennis and the food and all has no significance relative to the bechinat bli gvul that's in his neshama. He wants to be able to relate, to claim the whole world, not any quantity of the world, not any part of the world. And he wants to claim the whole world not because of its enormous size, because he wants the whole thing. He can't tolerate being restricted no matter how wide the restriction is. Okay? All right, we made it. Have a great day. Shiva?
It is very